In a raft of executive orders signed by President Donald Trump, one aimed to declassify remaining federal records related to 3 of the highest-profile assassinations in U.S. history.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed.
He had ordered the release of records relating to John F. Kennedy's assassination in his first term, but many of the records were redacted or withheld due to concerns by the CIA and FBI. JFK's assassination in Dallas in 1963 has fueled conspiracy theories for decades. Trump's pick for Health Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has said in the past that he wasn't convinced that his uncle was killed by a lone gunman, contrary to popular belief.
The fact that the CIA basically refused to follow his orders previously and redacted a bunch of the records and didn't put forward a bunch of the records, that just makes me so mad. For crying out loud, what are they trying to hide?
Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
I think that's pretty cool that he gave the pen to RFK Jr.
The order directs the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General to develop a plan within the next 15 days to declassify the remaining JFK records. Records related to the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy are an addition to this executive order, with a plan to be developed in 45 days. When the records will actually be released is unclear.
Hello and welcome to Trump 47 Daily Update. What do you guys think about these records being released? The records for JFK assassination, as well as RFK, as well as Martin Luther King Jr. Let me know what you think. Will we find anything out? Let's go ahead and get some other reactions and some other videos here. Then at the end, we're actually going to look at the executive order itself and see what exactly it says. Let's go.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. reacting today to President Trump's order to declassify documents related to the JFK and Robert F. Kennedy assassinations. Kennedy is the son of the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy and a Trump cabinet nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services. He has said in the past that there is evidence that the CIA was involved in his uncle's death, and spoke to NBC News as he left a meeting with senators ahead of his confirmation hearing next week.
President Trump.
You think that that's the right move to declassify those documents?
I think it's a great move because we need to have more transparency in our government, and he's keeping his promise to have the government tell the truth to the American people about everything.
Yeah, I think it's a great move as well because honestly, the government is hiding way too much. And they need to get some trust back. There is very little trust in the government. There's too many secrets. There's too much conspiracy. There's way too much corruption. All that needs to be put to a stop, and hopefully Trump can do that. Putting these records out in the open, I'm not sure what they're going to tell us, if they're going to fill in any holes or not. Let's go ahead and dive into this next video and see what this guy has to say.
Here at the JFK Presidential Library and Museum, you can learn a lot about the assassination of the president. A lot of people are hoping to learn more from these secret files, but it is not clear they'll get the answers they want.
The records will not reveal any smoking gun.
Tom Samolak knows what's hidden in the secret JFK documents long locked away from the American public. He reviewed them all in the 90s as the deputy director of the JFK Assassination Records Review Board.
There will be some puzzle pieces that will be put back in that will tell a more robust and enriched story.
A lot of people are waiting for this for years.
Trump's order to release the records promises to open the curtain on one of the darkest, most painful chapters in American history.
In a warehouse, a sniper with a rifle poised waits.
The 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy and the assassinations of his brother Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968.
I don't think we should get our hopes too high here.
The decades-long secrecy surrounding the investigations has spawned vast conspiracy theories, but BU presidential historian Tom Whalen doesn't expect revelations that will put many of them to rest.
I doubt if this is going to definitively prove whether or not there was a conspiracy to kill the president.
And everything will be revealed.
Many historians argue it is time to finally lift the veil, but the man who's seen it all says some mysteries may linger forever.
Do I know what happened? I don't. And I think the realities where everyone will be convinced that they know what happened has been lost to history.
In a warehouse, a sniper.
And in the next few weeks, we should learn exactly when all of these documents will be released. We're live in Dorchester tonight. John Atwater, WCVB News Center 5.
That's pretty interesting. What do you think? Do you think that these documents will actually tell us anything? I honestly don't know, and I honestly don't think so. I don't think the CIA, I don't think they'll let any documents come out that will actually tell us the truth. They'll probably give us more information about what they know and what they don't know. Unfortunately, like he said, I don't think there's going to be a smoking gun on all three of these cases. I think maybe they'll fill in some more of the details, but I don't think we'll definitely know for sure exactly what happened or who was behind all three of these assassinations. I would be really shocked if we did, but I'm glad Trump is releasing the documents, and hopefully this will begin a pattern of being more open and more forthright by the government. Let's go ahead and look at this executive order. Okay, you can find this executive order on the whitehouse.gov website, and it has a really long title: Declassification of Records Concerning the Assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Policy and purpose. More than 50 years after the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., the federal government has not released to the public all of its records related to those events. Their families and the American people deserve transparency and truth. Yes, we do. It is in the national interest to finally release all records related to these assassinations without delay. The President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992 required all records related to the assassination of President Kennedy to be publicly disclosed in full by October 26, 2017, unless the President certifies that continued postponement is made necessary by an identifiable harm to the military, defense, intelligence operations, law enforcement, or conduct of foreign relations, and, number two, the identifiable harm is of such gravity that it outweighs the public interest in disclosure. President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992. I previously accepted proposed redactions from executive departments and agencies in 2017 and 2018, but ordered the continued reevaluation of those remaining redactions. See temporary certification for certain records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. In the presidential memorandum of April 26, 2018, I also ordered agencies to re-review each of those redactions over the next 3 years and disclose information that no longer warrants continued withholding under the standards set forth in section of the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992. President Biden issued subsequent certifications with respect to those records in 2021, 22, and 23, which gave agencies additional time to review the records and withhold information from public disclosure. I have now determined that the continued redaction and withholding of information from records pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy is not consistent with the public interest, and the release of those records is long overdue. And although no act of Congress directs the release of information pertaining to the assassinations of Senator Robert F. Kennedy and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., I have determined that the release of all records in the federal government's possession pertaining to each of these assassinations is also in the public interest. Within 15 days of the date of this order, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General shall, in accordance with the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and the Counsel to the President, present a plan to the President for the full and complete release of records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Within 45 days of the date of this order, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General shall, in coordination with the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and the Counsel to the President, review records related to the assassinations of Senator Robert F. Kennedy and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and present a plan to the President for the full and complete release of these records. Okay, so within 15 days, they have to submit a plan to the president regarding President John F. Kennedy's records, and within 45 days, they have to submit a plan regarding Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, Jr. So those are just plans. So we do not actually know when the records will be produced, but they do have to at least produce a plan for producing those records within 15 days and 45 days, respectively. And that's about it. So that was signed January 23rd, 2025. Well, what do you think? Are we going to learn anything new by getting these records? You know, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Will there be new information that is revealed? Will we finally know who was behind the assassination? Are some of the conspiracies actually correct? Will we know that? I don't know. And will all the records actually be released? I have a feeling that CIA and FBI and whoever else is going to be fighting the release of these records, and we actually probably won't get everything released. Hopefully President Trump will continue to put his foot down and force their hand and make it happen, and maybe some of the new directors that he's putting in place will actually follow his orders and get this work done. But we'll see. Let me know what you think. If you're interested in following all Trump 47 daily news, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you're interested in other Trump 47 daily news, I do have a playlist right here. You can go ahead and check that out. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and click on this button right here. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.